and now it's all coming.
So we have a couple things that we're going to do today. There's going to be people straggling in throughout. I'm so excited that you're here in my space, bringing your fabulous selves in here. We thought that we would play some really magical music for you for a little bit, maybe like 15 minutes or so. And it will help not only us as a group, but this space. So there's a lot of power in music. And then after that, I thought if you were up for it, we could do a little meditation that I'll guide if you want, to experience just a small snippet of what we do here. And then after that, after your brains are all nice and open and soft and pliable, I will fill you with all of my information. And then I'll tell you what we do here and kind of give you the rundown of what neurosculpting is and what we do and how you could benefit from it and all that great stuff. Does it sound all right? And in the meanwhile, please eat the food. Don't be shy. Hey, did you just fly in? Yay! Welcome. Your arms must be tired. And so for those of you who have maybe not familiar with these instruments, these are tablas that Gilly will play. I don't know how to play them at all. And this is a hong drum, which is probably my favorite drum on the planet, and we love it. So I just wanted to bring our two favorite instruments for you guys today. Did you want to play this too?
Yeah, we'll start.
Feel free to go on a little journey with your eyes closed or open. thought we'd do a little meditation. All right. Well, you look comfortable, so stay right where you are. And I don't know, let's go on a little 15-minute journey or so. So go ahead and continue to keep your eyes closed if they are, or close them. And if you have different ideas about what you'd like your journey to be, then by all means, go with your own intuition. And if you'd like to be guided, then you can listen to my suggestions and adapt them, make them your own, as you gently bring your awareness to a few cycles of your breath in and out, effortless, unforced, unpushed. Noticing that your breathing is effortless and consistent, and perhaps maybe you're noticing it for the first time today, but it has been breathing itself since the moment you were born, with or without your attention. And as you breathe in and out, you might be aware of the way the air feels going in your nose, down your throat, back out again. Or maybe you're more aware of the rise and fall of the belly, or the expansion and contraction of the lungs. Noticing that with each round of your oceanic and effortless breath, that your body can relax as much as possible, allowing your breath to settle you in and slow you down. Maybe noticing that gravity encourages you to make even more contact with the floor or the chair as your breath guides your awareness in gentle waves. I wonder how much more you can let go of your muscles or your attention as you rest into gravity. Maybe as you deepen your breath, you notice that one area that can loosen its grip, that one area that can feel like it's melting, softening. And as your breath breathes itself, and as you are supported by gravity, you might take this moment to recognize that you are sheltered enough to be here right now, safe enough to be here right now, nourished enough to have shown up today. Your needs are met as your breath breathes itself. And in this space of relaxing and breathing and softening, you might notice that you can direct your awareness anywhere you'd like it to go. What would it be like to bring your awareness to the tip of your nose? Or what would it be like to bring your awareness to your pinky finger on your right hand? or that spot 1 inch above your navel. Noticing that as you bring your awareness anywhere you'd like to bring it, your breath breathes itself consistent, effortless, predictable, reliable, enabling you to sink more and more comfortably wherever you feel like you can let go. And remembering that you can make up any story you'd like that serves you best. You are free to embrace or adapt or change any of these images that I offer for you. And here in this space where your needs are met and your breath supports you and gravity has your back, if you could draw to mind one thing from your day or your week that might be weighing on you a little too heavy. Maybe this is a conversation. Maybe this is a memory. Maybe this is a word or just a feeling. Maybe this is stress, S-T-R-E-S-S, stress. Maybe this is unfinished business, unmet expectations. If this one thing that's weighing a little too heavily on your space could be represented by a color or a vibration or a texture, maybe a sound, I wonder what you would choose. Would this one thing be gray and heavy? Would it be sharp or metallic or hot or red? Your breath still breathes itself. Your awareness still able to go wherever you'd like it to go. If you could imagine looking right through your transparent body, wonder where you might imagine this color or texture inside your own space. Would you imagine it everywhere? Or is it in just a few key areas? And as you breathe and as you relax, I wonder if there's something you might notice about the nature of this color or texture in your space. Is it dense? Or is it numb? Or maybe it's tense or cold. And what would be the perfect container that would be big enough or strong enough to hold this color, this vibration, if you were to remove it from your body and put it somewhere? Would that be a hole in the ground, or would that be a garbage truck. And if that container were easy enough to imagine in your mind, in front of you, I wonder how much of this color or texture you might be ready to put into that container. Your breath, breathing motion into those areas that want to release this color, this texture. And maybe you even notice something about the nature of that release. Maybe it's fluid or chunky. Maybe it brings up emotions. Maybe it's a relief. Releasing only as much as you'd like to imagine in this moment. If your body draws your awareness in any way, shape, or form, releasing, engaging, warming, cooling, you are invited to tap those areas of your own body with the hand you don't normally write with. Identification, location, acknowledge, release that which weighs too heavy. Your breath still breathing itself. I wonder if you might notice a little more space, a little more movement. And if you could take that image, that container, and put it anywhere where it would better serve the greatest good, I wonder where that might be. Maybe that's a recycling plant. Maybe that's simply dissolving it, letting it become part of the fabric of the universe again. Maybe you notice you are still breathing your own breath, still supported by gravity. And if you could choose a name, label, or a symbol that would allow you to easily remember the most important part of this experience for you when you think of it tomorrow. I wonder what that name or label would be. And if you could imagine the most magnificent sky you've ever seen, maybe that's a sunrise or a sunset, maybe that's a cloud, maybe that's a clear blue space. What would it look like to have the name of your meditation written across the sky in the most magnificent colors for you? And inasmuch as you might have identified a weight and released some of it today, you can continue to do so tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And you can begin to bring your awareness back to the rhythm of your effortless breath still breathing itself. And to your body still supported by gravity. And when you feel ready, you can take a few more deep breaths and open your eyes. Hey, Sam.
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going wonderfully, thanks.
Excellent. Glad to have you. Hey there.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yay. Everybody, this is Sam. And Michelle. So, any thoughts or comments on your world before I jump into kind of what we do here?
My world is pretty wonderful since you're in it.
Yay! Well, mine is wonderful since you're in it. So, here we are in my brand new, fabulous, amazing space that I love so much. And I'm so excited to have you in here. I wanted to have an opportunity to kind of let you know what we do here. Because some of you I know from Facebook and my constant discussion of neurosculpting, and I realize that some of you might have heard the term and not really sure what it is and what we do here. So I wanted to give you just a brief bit of my background so you know that I don't take this lightly. Even though I make light of a lot and I joke around a lot, I want you to understand why I do what I do. Because maybe for you, that will help you find a way into this sort of work. So I've been meditating like probably most of you for a very, very long time. And none of my meditation training has been bad. It's all been amazing. It's all been a gift. But it didn't take me to real deep healing. Now that might have been just me, and I realize other people can go to great depths of healing with whatever modality they choose. But for me, I was using meditation to try to come back to center from all the places I've spun out in, but I never got deeper than coming back to center. I always spun out again. And I wanted to find something that would go to the things that spun me out and just fix them. I wanted to cure or heal those things so I could spin out less and still have great tools to come back to center. But meditation in my training was not doing that for me. So after many, many years of meditating to cope with some things, my physical stuff came to a head. So I started having these interesting episodes when I was 15. What I thought were fainting spells. I was blacking out. And no one seemed to know what it was. A few times people witnessed it, and it seemed very benign in the beginning when I would start having blackouts, and I'd recover pretty quickly. But as the years progressed, they got worse and worse, and recovering was just really just a big inconvenience. And so I would end up, by the time I was in my late teens, when I would have these episodes, which happened just a few times a year, I would wake up in crazy places, on the floor, in a puddle. Sometimes I'd wake up with my head between the tub and the toilet and my feet like all bent in strange positions, not knowing how I got there. And I would remember the moment right before I would go out. This crazy moment of, oh, that was it. That was all I got. Enough time to grunt or say, oh no. Because everything just sort of went, into this little narrow tunnel. And then I'd just disappear. Well, so I've been meditating to deal with my stress and manage this. And then in my 30s, I was fortunate enough to have an episode in front of a doctor, in a doctor exam. And I just was going to have a random episode. And what I woke up to was this gift of a diagnosis. Because what actually happened was that I had a seizure and I flatlined. And I woke up in the puddle to a doctor ready to resuscitate with atropine, which is liquid adrenaline. And you put it right into the heart to jumpstart the heart. And the needle was loaded and he was poised, and I opened my eyes and thought, what in the world is going on? So he told me that I had a seizure and that I flatlined and he couldn't get my vital signs back. And I thought, are you kidding me? Why am I in this puddle? Here I am in this puddle again, this strange puddle that seemed to follow me since I was a teenager. And he said, that's what happens when you seizure. And it dawned on me that I had been having seizures since I was 15. And, oh, how many times have I flatlined? I don't know, but I knew what it felt like to try to recuperate from flatlining, and it is horrible. It's just a lot of pain, a lot of pins and needles all over the body, a lot of no energy. It's all gone from the seizure. A lot of, oh my God, I don't know if I can hold my bowels, and sometimes I can't. I can't walk. I can't get to the bed. I'm just going to lay here forever. I don't really care. It's that. And so I was kind of tired of that happening and hijacking me at really bad moments. And so over the years, as they got worse, not in frequency, but in severity, I can't say I had them frequently. I had them a couple times a year, which was enough. I had one in front of my daughter when she was small and still have to deal with her sense of safety in the world from having witnessed that and the paramedics and that whole thing. And then the last time, which was probably about five years ago now, which for me was the one that kicked me into high gear. It was the gift that kicked me into high gear. I'd been cultivating, researching my nervous system. I had a diagnosis from the doctor. I knew why I was having the seizures. I didn't know the traumatic story that caused it, but I knew they were caused by this particular nerve being hypersensitive, particularly during times of stress and fear. So I knew the physiology behind it, and I went on to study the brain so I could get a handle on this. And then the last episode I had was one I did not really want to come back from. I didn't really push hard to stay in my body after I came to. In fact, I just kept exiting. And fortunately, Gilly was there reminding me to come back and to keep breathing. And at that point, I realized I know too much for this to keep happening. And so what if I could take all of my information about what I know about the brain and the nervous system, and what if I could really hone the meditation, the life of meditation that I've had, and make it specifically go to unwind that story, that trigger for my nervous system. And I knew that this was possible from having studied neuroscience. I knew this was possible because we are neuroplastic. And this is where it all came from. There's pillows if you all want to sit on something soft. So I knew all of this was possible if I could put some kind of strategy to this. Come on in. So what I did was I created my own modality to use the principles of neuroscience and neuroplasticity to my advantage. We are using neuroplasticity in every moment of every day. We're using it unconsciously. It is what we're born with. It's our birthright. It's what we use in every moment. And it is very unconscious. So all I did was take what science told me we were already doing and put some consciousness to it and a nice, neat little methodical package, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. if I do it like this, I'll do this to this lobe and that to that lobe, and what if I did that? And lo and behold, it worked. It worked to rewrite my story. It works to rewrite many stories that people come to me with trauma, and they've done talk therapy, and they've done medication, and they've done all these things, and they want that next step. And this is that next step, which can be added to what you're already doing to deal with your stories. So I want to talk a little bit about what those stories are so that you know you have them. You all have them. The story of, I am this, I am that, I'm not good enough, I'm better than, I am a meditation teacher, I'm an accountant, I'm a good person, I'm a piece of garbage, I'm whatever. We all have the I ams. And those are stories. And those are stories that we create in our mind. Those are stories that the world around us helps create and validate through experiences. And those are stories that when we repeat enough times, our neurology jumps on board and says, this is the reality of your world. And that happens through neuroplasticity. You have a thought, one tiny thought or one tiny experience, and then you have a neurological excitation somewhere in your brain. Neurons that burst their electrical current and say, when I fire, it equals this thought, or when I fire, it equals this behavior. Now, if that thought is negative bias, fear-based, how many of those do you have a day? Oh God, the bills came, I can't pay them. Oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not round enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not blue. Whatever the I am not thing is, it's weighing on us, right? And so we have this neurological excitation that is different around negatively charged stories. And the difference is, I'm going to use my brother's brain here for a second. The difference is that the negatively charged stories activate this part of the brain, which is the limbic center of the limbic system. That is the fight or flight response. When this part activates, it hijacks everything else. And it does so because it's efficient. It is very old, so it knows how to work. And it doesn't need a whole lot of really good fuel to stay efficient. In fact, in our negative responses, our fight or flight center, let me just explain to you how easy it is to go there, how efficiently this works on very little. Let's say you're exhausted, you're malnourished because you didn't eat, you've been fueling on coffee all day long, you just got a load of bad news. Is it easier to A, be compassionate and forgiving, or B, pissed off? The answer is B. And the answer is B because while you're malnourished and exhausted and dealing with an emotional load, allostatic load of negative emotions, your limbic center knows how to function just fine. It's got it. It's like, hey, I got it. And when it says I got it, it means you're going to be reactionary. And the more you're like that, the more you strengthen those patterns neurologically. They grow. They grow in density. They grow in their reach. And then they start touching other patterns that might not have been negative before, but now they're negative because now they're connected. And this is what happens when neurons grow dendrites, which then touch other neurons. And so literally this is the physiology of how what you focus on grows. It's not a metaphor, it's a neurological reality. And I knew these principles, and I knew that as easily as they could hijack me, I could hijack them. And that's what neurosculpting is. It's a methodical, science-based process of meditation that is super simple. But once you know why you're doing what you're doing, it becomes a profound healing tool. And that's what we teach here. And we teach that through a ton of amazing classes. We have a whole long list of introductory classes. No experience necessary. Pop into any one that you want. And all of those are about 2 hours. and they follow a model. And the model is you're going to learn about your brain, whether you like it or not. You're gonna learn about some of what's going on when you think those horrible thoughts about yourself when you look in the mirror, or you look in your checkbook, or you look at your neighbor. And you're gonna learn what's going on in your brain so that you have a place to work from when you go into the meditations. You're gonna learn why you can affect certain brain state changes with certain phrases, with certain focal points, with a certain cadence. You're gonna learn all of that. And all of that plays into priming your brain to do what it already is doing, but doing it with intention, and then doing it in a way that pulls your blood glucose and oxygen out of here and towards here. And when we put blood glucose and oxygen in a more dominant way in the front of our brains, in the prefrontal cortex, okay, trainers, put you on the spot. What happens to our disposition? What attributes come online?
Reasoning, problem solving,
Compassion.
empathy, connection.
Ding, 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 you all passed. Yay. That happens here. That is a product of dominant activity in the prefrontal cortex. So it's in our best interest to know how to navigate the lobes of the brain at will, so we don't have to play victim anymore. One thing that bothers me beyond any other story is a victim story. I have such a little bit of tolerance for that. And I have a lot of clients who come to me with a victim story, and my heart goes out to them. And if they want to change, I will go to the ends of the earth to help them. And if they keep coming back with the victim story and they don't want to change, I can't work with them anymore. That is the most insidious story we have, and all it takes is the desire to want to change that, and that's what we do here. So we have introductory classes, and they're really powerful, and you can experience 2 guided meditations in each class, so you have an experience of the neurosculpting process to take home with you and practice over and over again. And those classes are, a lot of them are offered via live stream. So if you don't feel like getting out of bed or your pajamas, you could do what a lot of my trainers do, which is tune into the stream, and you're taking the class from home. We also have deeper dives, which are designed for people who are ready to really write a new story. Really heal a lot of trauma, heal a lot of old wiring, old patterns, and in those deeper dives, you'll get a lot of the brain information as well. So I want to talk a little bit about what those are, and then tell you what resources we have for you if you don't want to take any classes. Our deeper dive comes in the form of the Warrior series, which I've called it the Warrior series just because I have felt like a warrior in trying to use a new story and apply it. So Warrior 1, I only offer it 4 times a year. We've already done 2. So Warrior 1 is a 4-day intensive that is 4 hours each day, and we go into the curriculum of New Beliefs, New Brain, which is the book that really talks about this whole process. We do 12 different techniques, a lot of brain information, and you leave that changed. You absolutely leave that changed. Whether you hold that change and cultivate it, that's up to you. But it is definitely, you will leave changed. So in terms of the Warrior immersion, you don't need any experience to take it, but you absolutely have to know it's going to rock you. And I can have some people testify to that after this. And I don't want that to scare you, but I want to let you know that it's not light, okay? Because this work is not light. It can be, but if you've got stuff you're rewriting, you're going to go there. We're offering that in July. It's the last time in Colorado. And then once in September in New Mexico. There's a level 2 to that, which gives you a much deeper dive into navigating your own mental system, your own energetic system. And that is the next step after the warriors. And then we have a level 3, which is rolling out this year, which I don't recommend you take these in any close time frame. And so we have those deep immersions. We also have online classes. If you don't want to come and be with other people, some people would prefer to be by themselves. You can take some classes online. We have some audio downloads that are guided meditations. I'm putting full classes on the online academy over the next 6 months. And we have some short little video products if you want to get your dive in that way. And then we also have audio programs, which I don't... Bruce was asking me last night if I had them to sell. Interestingly, I don't have any of my own products to sell, which is kind of funny. But these are samples. So these are 2 audio programs. You can do this on your own. You don't have to come to the Institute at all. And you can see them on the homepage of the website, or you can go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon and order them. And these are really deep immersions for people who prefer to have a self-paced process. We do private one-on-ones here. My office is here at the Institute, and then all of our certified trainers also do one-on-ones. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to have more intimate, private guidance if you prefer. We have a free library on the website, which is totally for real free. And I say that because I see a lot of marketing out there that says, get my free something or other. And then you have to trade quite a bit to get that free something or other. Okay, my free library is really free. It's just free.
And it's awesome.
Woo! And it's also what?
It's amazing.
It's amazing, right? There's about 400 articles right now, and I try to cull the articles from science-based sources. So they're not blogs, and they're not mine. They're like PubMed articles and Science Daily and Scientific American Mind. It's, you know, really juicy stuff on neuroplasticity and the power of all of this to heal. And that's on the website. Just click on free library and give yourself a login, and you can be busy reading for about a year. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We do have guest presenters come in and do guest curricula. We have an introductory to intuition and clairvoyance training taught by David Stevens, who has similar meditational training background to me, but that's not a neurosculpting class. We also have nutrition classes, which we're going to start up again at some point soon, taught by our nutritional therapist, who is very, she's like a walking she's an encyclopedia with a mouth. And it's amazing what she can help you unravel about yourself by what you eat. We always, when we talk about the brain, we always talk about the fuel the brain needs, because I've been in a spiritual practice for my whole life, and no one in that spiritual practice taught me how to eat to support that spiritual practice. They taught me how to eat ethically to support the way my heart felt about the practice. But no one taught me, when I was starving my brain of its ability to create neurotransmitters to balance my mood, I'd still be a bitch. Nobody told me that. Okay, well, that would have been helpful. And so here at the Institute, I just realized there's kids here, sorry. My daughter's not here yet, so I felt free. So there's food that feeds here, and there's food that feeds here. And if you don't know the difference, and you're trying to be this better version of yourself, well, good luck, because it'll be it'll be a guessing game for you, and you'll be a salmon swimming upstream. So we always talk about nutrition, we always talk about science, we always talk about the brain, and then we always do meditation in a neurosculpting process. And all of that happens here regardless of who's teaching. I teach some of the intro classes, and then my certified facilitators teach most of the intro classes. So any of those that you drop into, you're going to get this information. I'm the only one who teaches the immersions. So I really put a lot of time and energy into those. If you go on the calendar to the events page, you'll see all the classes listed. You'll see who's teaching them. You'll see if they're online available. It should give you all of that information. So before I go on, I'm like rambling right now, so I need to know if you have questions before I go on. Yeah.
Is Shanti Medina doing her body current classes?
Shanti Medina will be doing her body current classes. We don't have a lot of them on the schedule yet. There is one posted at the door that's happening in April, and then we have to find more to put on the schedule.
So that'll be moved here?
That'll be here.
What about the sensory deprivation tank that was?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we're not in the same building anymore.
Is that going to still be in
That
there?
is still there, though. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Body
still.
views.
Yes, you can still. Ben is still there doing the sensory deprivation immersions.
Where is that?
That's in Boulder, where the institute used to be. It's right on Foothills in Belmont. It's called Isolate Flotation Center. I highly recommend it. Yes, everyone should float. Questions before I continue? All right. So we're also starting, I would like to, my goal is to really build a community. And I'm building a community with my facilitators, but I want to build a community with the public who doesn't care to become a facilitator. So I want to build that community as well. And the way we're doing that is by offering right now every other Sunday, Sunday morning meditations. They're not classes. They're just me guiding a non-dogmatic meditation similar to what you experienced. Although I did give you a neurosculpting meditation, I didn't really break it down in a way that would cause you to think it was anything other than a regular meditation. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But on Sunday mornings, they will be different every Sunday. Right now, they're every other Sunday, and you can drop in for $15 and just come meditate, or you can buy a pack of 5 for $50 and have it like a punch card and just come whenever it works for you. I'm working towards getting them happening every Sunday. So trainers who are here, no pressure, but I really need all of you to pick up the other Sundays I can't do it. Anyway, so right now it's every other Sunday, and I would love to see some of you here. I know Derek's been coming and Gilly's been coming, and they're really lovely ways to end your week and start your week. You just come, you meditate, you make it all go away right here, and then you just sort of leave, and it's lovely.
What time are those?
Those are from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here. And so I wanted to also tell you about some other things that we're doing outside of the Institute. We will be taking neurosculpting again this year back to Kripalu Yoga Meditation Center in Massachusetts. How many of you have been to Kripalu? For shame. Oh. You all need to go. I'm going to highly recommend going to Kripalu. I'll highly recommend you going to Kripalu for the neurosculpting immersion. But if you have an opportunity to go, just go. It's in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. It's gorgeous. It's this beautiful place where they feed you ridiculous amounts of delicious food, like food you can taste the love in the food. It's that good. Yes, they feed your prefrontal cortex. They have amazing yoga classes, and they have, personal retreats, and you could go to the wellness spa upstairs and get all your spa stuff and sit in the whirlpool or kayak in the lake. It's just really a beautiful place, and I'm fortunate to be bringing neurosculpting back there. We went last year, and we'll be back there in June. So if you feel like taking a trip, the class I'm offering there is not any class that we teach here at the Institute. Principles are the same, but you will not be able to experience that workshop here. And that's June 8th through 11th. And then we have a solstice event, June 21st, up at the Star House, where Shanti, Medina, and I, and Kelly Larson, and Teresita will be doing a 12-hour day for women. Sorry, guys. I didn't design the only women thing, but and we'll be doing neurosculpting and body current and nature walks and awareness exercises and yoga and movement and all of that. And then some of you have been to
That's amazing.
Yeah, and Annie, you were there last year too. It's an amazing day. I highly recommend it. And then the last time for the year that we will offer the Everyday Warrior Immersion level 1 and 2 together is going to be in New Mexico, September 21st to the 27th. That immersion is going to, I think we may have to scrape people off something to send them home after that, because it's going to be Warrior 1, Warrior 2, body current, and Una's art expression classes, and maybe some yoga, and it's going to be amazing. And we have limited space for that. There are postcards by the door if you want to grab it. The reason that that is a special opportunity is because, let's just say you experience this work and it's healing you, and you want to share it with the world, and you feel like, well, I'd like to get certified in this. There's only one way to get certified, and that is to have all the prerequisites met before certification training. Prerequisites are Warrior 1, Warrior 2, 5 introductory classes, and we're still loose on the body current. Body current, you'll get it regardless. It doesn't have to be taken first. So that takes time. And if you're looking at your schedule and you're blocking out 6 months, you know, you're going to need time to do that. So what we've done with that embodied warrior immersion in New Mexico is we've put everything into 1 week. So if you're a last-minute person and you decide, oh my God, certification training is starting in October because that only happens once a year, and I really want to share this work and I don't have my prereqs, then you would want to come to that and get them all done. I actually don't recommend that that's the reason you come, but that is a benefit of having everything put together in that way.
And I like to walk through the fire.
Then that's the one for you. Then that might, yeah. Well, you might want to walk through that one because that's going to be the fire. So let me talk about how this work can benefit you. Physically, this work will help you. We have more cushions if you want to sit. Yeah. Okay. Physically, it can help you turn down your fight or flight response, which means you will start regulating your adrenaline and cortisol, which means you will start bringing your nervous system into a relaxation response more frequently, which will increase your immunity. It will increase your cognitive abilities. It will increase your blood pressure, your mood regulation, your sugar metabolism. It will help with all of that physiologically. So that's some of the physical benefits. The mental benefits are you start becoming empowered to move out of your old stories and start creating new ones. You start moving out of a victim space and into a place of, holy moly, I really have a process to create a new life. I don't have a book that says I should wish it. I don't have a book that says I should think it. I don't have a mirror with 1,000 Post-it notes that say, I'm beautiful, yay. You actually have a process to do this. So it helps with the mental state. The emotional state, it will bring you to the part of your brain that is responsible for cultivating joy and compassion, forgiveness. Okay, it stands to reason that if you, let's just say the right arm was the arm that could feel compassion and forgiveness, and the left arm was the arm that could feel frustration and depression, and I tied this one behind your back, it stands to reason you're not going to feel compassion and forgiveness, right? It's that black and white. If you can navigate the lobes of your brain, you can bring yourself into spiritual states that many of us are seeking, alongside spiritual practices that work best for you. And then, as far as how this affects the world and the community, it is profound because we are far more, we have far more of a ripple effect out to the world than many of us think we have. We don't live in isolation. And I'll just use neuroscience to corroborate that. You know, we have multiple mirror neuron networks in our brains. And those specific networks are designed, they were only discovered in the late 1990s. And their job, their function, is to light up neurological activity when you witness someone else doing something. But the neurological activity that's lit up in your brain is the same pattern that would light up if you were doing that. So according to your neurology and the mirror neuron networks, there is absolutely no difference between what your expressions are on your face and what I'm feeling. I will experience them. And they now believe that the mirror neuron networks are how we come to a place of empathy. They're also impaired in those who are autistic, those who don't socially navigate well. So when I say, what does this work do for the community? If you do this work on yourself, you will affect great change. Rather than trying to change other people or your neighbor or the world, if you just do this, you will affect that change neurologically and all of the other ways as well. So what I have noticed is that the more people that do this work, the better everything gets. And that's kind of what we're doing here at the Institute. We're creating communities of people who are ready to do the work. And I want to say one more thing before I open it up to some trainers who want to jump in. I'm not interested in cranking out a trend machine. It really just annoys me. And at the same token, I'm not interested in limiting this and hoarding it because I want to evaluate and judge who's ready to have it. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is opening this up to everyone, knowing that if you come to do the work, you're going to do the work or you're not going to come back. And that's just the way it is. So those who go on to be trainers are not going on to be trainers because it's a quick way to make money or it's a quick way to build online sales of something or other. They're going on to become trainers because this has rocked their worlds and they can't help but want to share it. And that's what I have noticed. I have noticed a few who tried to become trainers for all the wrong reasons, and they're not doing the work, and they're not out there putting it into the world. And those who came to do the work are having a ripple effect of change out there. So, so again, I'm not inviting you into any long-term plan for the sake of spreading this for the sake of spreading it. I'm inviting you into a long-term plan if you want to do evolution in yourself and then be a rock of evolution for those around you. Questions before I ask some? Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
How does all of this work? I mean, you described it well with the physiological aspect and the neurology. What about energetically releasing old beliefs? And if that's my understanding,
Yeah.
is that a lot of this work is releasing old patterns, things that don't serve us, old beliefs and such. And so how does all this work on an energetically releasing that from our beingness?
Energy and neurology are partners because neurology is energy. Neurology is electromagnetic frequency, it's current, and energy, the auric field, is electromagnetic frequency and current. I don't see a difference. So when you get into the deeper dives with me, there will be a lot of energetic tools. We go to that realm. We go very deep in the energetic tools. My background is in the energetic tools, but I only teach the ones that I have seen work for me. So there may be other energetic tools that don't work so well. But you can affect a much greater release if you bring both parts on board. If you're trying to just energetically release something, but you're stuck in a neurological pattern, you're going to repeat that energetic pattern. And if you just work the neurology and you don't go to that other space, then you may be bringing into your space that which is pushing your neurology back to that pattern. So I don't separate them ever in my class. I use neurology to explain why and how, but I use the energy to actually facilitate, and that's what people do here.
Great.
Yeah. Adina, you were going to say something.
Oh, well, we're always setting space. That's what we're trained in as facilitators. So we're energetically setting a space, cleansing a space, holding a space. And then we're navigating our own as well. And there tends to be downloads for all the people in the class that we're hosting, also simultaneously while guiding meditation, while going through the meditation. And so I've had some really big releases and some gifts that came my way recently, and my body just automatically started purging. So like physiologically it was purging, energetically I feel it was purging, and that situation and being able to write the story. So like Lisa said, it's never separated. That's why this is great, is because there's always been, you know, I've read a lot of the spiritual texts and done the spiritual work. I've done a lot of trauma around EMDR and different therapies and things like that. But I still had patterns in me, right, that were eliciting a response that I wasn't really excited about. And so the great thing is that Lisa's work comes through the hypothalamus, and you're talking to both sides. So there's not one side of you that's not being included. The whole, your energetic body, both sides of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, your hypothalamus, all of it's being engaged. So I found it to be one of the most powerful lines of work that I've seen, and it's fun and it's playful, which is great because you don't have to go into any story.
Yeah. Thank you, Adina. One more thing I want to say about that. My whole mission is to, I'm a bridge. I'm a bridge between left brain and right brain worlds. So I have a metaphysical background. I have 30 years of meditation training, and I have a background in neuroscience. And there's no reason on earth those two things need to be separate. In fact, they are exactly the same thing. And I'm a bridge for myself to make those two things flow. And that's what we do here. We always include energetics. We always include science, because it's like flipping a penny, you know? You're going to get
physics, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about too, is that inclusiveness of
absolutely.
that ripple.
Yeah. Cynthia?
I just wanted to add an example of how this can work. I do a lot of work with nonprofits and other groups that are doing a lot of social change work in the world. And a lot of the people I work with, and I've done this as well, one of the stories that I've said about myself is that I absorb other people's energy. I feel what other people are feeling. I'm very empathic, which on some level is really wonderful, and on another level it's incredibly draining. There's been a lot of writing lately about empaths, and also about another term that's been used as highly sensitive people. So as great as that can be, I can't serve others very well if I'm not taking care of myself. And I would say, especially in the deeper dives of the Energetic Warrior, or Everyday Warrior 1, and then what's called Energetic Warrior, but Everyday Warrior 2, the things that are learned in there are tools that help us be stronger so that we can help others without necessarily absorbing their energy to the point that it knocks us out. So I see those things as being very intricately tied together, the stories we say about ourselves, and then how we engage with others, and developing tools for doing that in a way where we can really be compassionate and not fall apart.
Thank you. But before I move into just a slight topic change, if you guys want to come in, we have, everyone's always afraid to sit up front. We've got all these cushions up front. Anyway, just an invitation. Some people in the back could move up front, and then you can just sit. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
Sure. Another mission that I have as a bridge between worlds is, some of you may know some of my background and some of you may not, but since 2007 I have been working with law enforcement, and my passion is to bring these techniques to officers, and I've been doing that for a very long time. And I never, I'm not allowed to use energy terms with them or the word meditation, so I don't, which is why it's great because I can use the physiology but still get them to the same place. But part of my mission and the mission of the Institute here is for someday half of you to be officers in civilian clothes and nobody knows the difference. I have a very inexplicable drive to help law enforcement. I really can't quite define it, but I've been one of the few who's out there doing what I do, and so I'm hosting a couple of live free sessions for officers this year to get them here, because normally they fly me to their agency and I have to do it there where they're comfortable in their world, and my goal is to someday have it all be here and nobody knows the difference and nobody is an us and them, a scientist or a metaphysician, an officer, or what do you call it? Not a protester.
Criminal.
No. A criminal. Okay, a criminal.
An objector.
Yeah. So that's part of my mission. My mission is always to bridge worlds because I feel like those separations don't do a whole lot for the prefrontal cortex. They might do a whole lot for the fight or flight center, but not a whole lot for the prefrontal cortex. So anyway, just a little side note because I thought it was important to bring some of that officer energy here for a second.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
We need that.
Yeah. It's amazing because the term mindfulness it's almost ridiculous how fast or how sudden that became like a media term. And it's everywhere. And it's great. It's great that it's in our collective awareness now. But it was very interesting because recently on the cover of Mindful magazine was Lieutenant Girling from did you see the one where there was the cop in uniform sitting? So that's Lieutenant Girling out of Oregon. And he has a meditation program that he gives to his officers. Now, he has some officers that go through it. And they put him on the cover, and rightly so. He's one of the few warriors in the field spearheading this, although I do know a lot. Strangely, there are a lot of officers at the forefront of this work. And you might not know it because you're not with them, but I'm with them. But they put him on the cover. So it was interesting because I knew the media response would be, wow, look at this trend happening with police departments. And shortly after that, I got a call from the Wall Street Journal. And they said, we'd like to know from you a list of all of the agencies that have these amazing meditation programs. And I started laughing. And I said, oh, no, there aren't any. Mindful already got them. They put them on the cover. That's it. And she said, no. Just the ones that have meditation programs. And I said, I'm really sorry. You're not getting this. Nobody is doing this right now on a grand scale. And now your perception, because there's an officer on the cover, is that this is what's happening, as though it's as robust as yoga. No, it is not. It is still the fringe. And I am one of the few people who are in that doing, I've probably trained more officers than any one of those programs that have gotten media attention. It is not happening all over, and it has to happen all over, which is part of why I wanted to talk about it with this collective momentum, because you're all paying attention right now. And I feel like if I talk about it, it will help sort of lift it up. But there are great officers in the field doing amazing work. And so who knows, maybe next year's open house, half of you will be officers off duty, and the other half will be yoga practitioners and healers, and you'll all be eating cheese and grapes together, and that'll be fabulous. Fabulous. Yay! So, couple things before we wind up. I don't really want to take all that home, so you need to eat it. I'm going to take it home, but you got to eat it first. And there are calendars out front in that box, purple calendars that you can take that list all the rest of the classes. I have these little cards here. These are the 5-packs of Sunday morning meditations. If anyone wants to purchase a 5-pack today, we can do that. We have a mailing list at the front door. If you want to be on our newsletter, which does not go out more than like once a month, you can sign up for that. And if you are a certified trainer, please raise your hand so everybody can come talk to you about your personal experience with the work and how it's changed your life and what you're doing to change the world. I would love for you to all talk and mingle. And what else?
Does your website list all the classes you just went over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Website lists everything. On the home page, you can click on classes and it will list all the intro classes and the series. You can click on events and see when they are on the calendar. You can click on certification training and see the steps you need to take in order to be able to enroll in certification training. You'll see when that is. It's over 2 months, October and November. You'll see all of that, plus the free library.
And deadlines to sign up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
What's that website?
Thank you. The website is neurosculptinginstitute.com. And there's lots of video. And on the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel for Lisa Wimberger, there's just tons of really cool little snippets of neurosculpting and the live lunch talk series that I do and I record and I put up there where we get to talk with great people in the field, like Alicia was my guest on one of those. And I had Annie was another guest of mine, and then retired officer John Marks was my guest, and Dr. Fred Grover. So it's really diverse, and what we do in those talks is we just talk about the importance of meditation to the world and that person's specific world.
That's on your YouTube?
That's on YouTube. It's all free, yeah.
And there's a link to that on your...
There might be, but if you go to YouTube and you put in Lisa Wimberger, you'll see my channel. Yeah, and then you can watch all those. They're great and juicy.
Do you have the explanation of our evil little reptilian brain taking over?
On YouTube, I do. I have that in a 10-minute video on my channel called something like What You Need to Know About, I don't know. It's the 10-minute one. It's on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Might make my boyfriend like me more.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's on there. So I would love to mingle with you and have you talk to some of the facilitators and eat the food. That's it. Great. Great. Thank you, Gilly.
Oh.
My amazing husband who helps make all of this possible and rips tablas like nobody else.
When can we see you guys next playing some music?
Great, you are awesome. Next up for Lil Sum'n Sum'n, which is our percussion project, is May 17th at Apex. We are playing the Arise pre-party. You can go where for that information? I don't know. Facebook.
Star Water Party.
Star Water Party, yeah. And then we'll be playing the Arise Festival in at Sunrise Ranch in August. And we're hoping to somehow make an appearance at the Wake Up Festival. That is not in stone, but again, I like to say things in large crowds because there's power in that. Yeah, and we're really fortunate. The trainers are fortunate. We're fortunate to have Sounds True supporting us greatly. They have signed on to take neurosculpting out to the world internationally. So they're the ones who released the audio programs, and then the neurosculpting book is released in February, and they want more, and they're just going to put it out there. So we have great support, so you can continue your journey with lots of support. Thank you.
Are you going to play music with your meditation?
When?
On Sundays?
No, I don't do music with the meditations on Sundays. I might on occasion, but it's not a regular thing.
And are you officially moved out of Boulder?
We're officially moved out of Boulder now. We're in my home territory. Needed to be in my home territory. And Boulder was amazing, and it was such a gift, and it was time for me to come closer to home and be in an urban environment. Thanks, everybody.